Hi, this is Rhiannon here at Marian Wellness. I wanted to do a video today about my health goals and what I feel like the Lord has really placed on my heart over my walk with health and weight loss and all that good stuff. So if you're new here, welcome. I am a wife to an amazing man, and we have 6 beautiful children ranging from 15 down to the age of 4. So we are a semi-large Catholic family. We live here in Florida. We recently moved to this area for my husband's work. He works for the diocese. We have moved all over for his work and have had babies all over this country, but hopefully we're settled. If this is where the Lord wants us, we can set down some roots here, which is nice. But anyway, so on this video, I wanted to kind of, first of all, welcome you, and then I wanted to give you a little history of my health and weight loss, and then go on from there. So I started my health and weight loss journey about 4 years ago. I had my 6th baby via C-section, which was my first one. I had all my first 5 children via, natural births, and my 6th was a difference, a change. And not only was it a very physical recovery, very different physically, but it was also extremely hard for me emotionally and mentally, which I was not prepared for. It took me probably a good 2 years to really recover from not just like the physical stuff, because I had to go to PT later on because I had a lot of issues with the scar and the pressure it was having on my body and like my stomach. It was just like, there was a lot that went into it that I literally had no idea. And then the emotional aspect of it, I guess it was more about the change from like, this is how we have babies, to now I've had a baby this way. For some people, this might sound really silly. I know a lot of women have had multiple C-sections. I honestly don't even think it was really about just a C-section, but it was a hardship for me, I guess, making a change from like, this is how we do things. Like, we have natural births, to this is something different. And I never expected it to affect me the way it did. But it did, and I'm being honest about that. So when I was going through a lot of my mental health stuff and emotional stuff that came along with that, and I do believe I had some postpartum depression, on top of all of that, I was also pretty overweight. So I'm going to give numbers here only because I just want to explain what happened. But remember, I am almost 5'8", and everyone's build is very different. I have very broad shoulders and wide hips. And so a number for me might be something completely different for somebody else. So no comparison. And I'm not a doctor, of course, just sharing my story. So I started around 240 pounds, and I was thinking I wanted to lose about 100 pounds. I wanted to get to 140, which that ended up being something way too low for me to even try to do, first of all, and try to stay at that number. I just had that number in my mind from when I was younger. But anyway, so originally I started off with a 100-pound weight loss goal. I did get down to 155 pounds. That was very hard to maintain. So I ended up gaining about 15 pounds when I was trying to find a good fit for where I could be at and eat with my family and just live and not think about the scale or any of that kind of stuff. And my doctor also, when I got to 170, she was like, do not lose anything else. She's like, stay right here. This is a good, healthy weight for you. You look healthy. It's good. It's gonna be easier for you to maintain and all of that. So real quick, how I did it was I tried everything. Anything that would maybe work, I tried. When it stopped working, I did something else. I am not one of those people that did one thing and just did it all the way, and I can like say I've done it and this is what works. No, I tried everything. Some things made my cycle go away, which is not something that I want to have any part in, especially within my vocation and just for like monthly health. So keto did that to me. I know it doesn't do it to everybody else, but it did that to me. Intermittent fasting, it's a hit or miss. Sometimes it actually helps my cycle come back, and sometimes it makes things get all wonky with my cycle. I did raw vegan for a while, which was really awesome to cleanse out, but I found that as I kept going, it wasn't something I could sustain long term. And I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but I lost a lot of hair. A lot of hair. And so people say, oh, it'll come back. But I was like, I don't know if I'm wanting to go that far into it to see if it'll come back. But anyway, so I did all the things. And then I got a food sensitivity test because I found out I've had hypothyroidism for like 11 years, but I found out I had Hashimoto's. So I did this food test my doctor wanted me to do, and eliminated a ton of those foods and then added them back in slowly to see what I could actually have and what I can't, because I was having horrific back spasms. We were trying to figure out what was going on there. But anyway, so it's just been a very long journey, and I wanted to talk about a couple of points. So first, that was kind of like my history, and then I want to share with you my goals now. So my goal now, the biggest one, at least for weight loss, is to just maintain, stick around, I guess 170. The scale doesn't really matter. I actually have put the scale away, so it's like I don't weigh myself anymore. But I do have a pair of like jean shorts that I kind of roughly use as a gauge. I don't wear them often except for kids' sports events and stuff. They're like a long pair of jean shorts, and they're a size 8. Now, when I was younger and I was like at the weight 170, I remember not even being able to like squeeze into a size 12. So body composition changes. Like, it's like, I swear, I think sizes have changed in the last like 15, almost like 20 years. So I don't know. But I personally have a pair of Old Navy size 8 shorts, and I use those for kind of like the measure of like, okay, I'm kind of like where I was last week. So that's kind of good about maintaining. Pretty relaxed, and this has been a long journey to even be able to get to the point where I can feel that way, because I really have battled a lot of obsession, and that's been something I've really taken to Jesus. And yeah, so my current goal is, like, weight loss wise, is to roughly stay kind of where I'm at if I'm able. I also have goals of building muscle. I was on this kick, I'm gonna build all this muscle and get all this strength and everything. So that's out the window. Basically what I'm doing now is I stretch in the morning and I try to stretch in the evening. I'm working on mobility, especially for my hips and my back as I get older. And I also am focusing on light weights, like, you know, anywhere between 2 to 6 pound weights, and doing a little bit here and there, squats, things like that, just to like keep the muscle mass going, because, you know, you lose some when you get in your 30s, and definitely I'm sure as you get older. And we go on walks sometimes as a family. Every now and then I'll do these walking videos on like YouTube that are free. I think it's like Grow with Joe, and then Walk Away the Pounds or something. Sometimes I'll do those if it's like really hot out or the mosquitoes are awful or whatever, just to get some like exercise in. But I am pretty busy. I'm constantly moving around with the kids, doing a lot, and yeah, and I can actually get around and play with them and do stuff, which is one of the biggest blessings from the weight loss, because before it was really hard with all the extra weight on to do just about anything, even just getting up and down off the floor, wanting to even play with the kids. So that has been a real blessing. My hopes for the future in all of this is just to continue developing and strengthening, to continue to develop mobility. I guess that's how you say develop, or like gain mobility or keep mobility, because I have heard that's important to do in your late 30s and your early 40s to set yourself up to have, you know, that mobility as you get older. And so that's important to me. So those are kind of like my physical goals. My goal for food is to eat comfortably with my family, but the biggest thing is to have temperance, because I find that I can enjoy a slice of cake on one of my kids' birthdays, but I shouldn't have two. That's just, it's not, I really have a hard time with gluten and certain food sensitivity stuff. Sometimes a watermelon that's on my food sensitivity list. Sometimes a watermelon is so good and yummy with like barbecue or whatever, if we want to have that. But if I start eating it a lot, like I used to, I think it starts to cause some issues like headaches and things like that. So just about having temperance, moderation, and being able to enjoy food and things like that with my family, I think are really important. So for the future with food, at least, that's a big one. Food has been such a big thing. But I do want to talk about one more aspect of my health journey that I haven't covered too much, and that is stress. I know that a lot of us have stress as wives and mothers, not because our husbands and children are necessarily stressful, but it's just a lot of work. And maybe your husband and children are stressful. I don't know. But I'm just saying that we do deal with a lot of stress. And life can just be stressful. Social media can be stressful. And so I had to cut back a ton of things to help with my stress level, because I was having debilitating back spasms. So one of the things I did was I had to close down a whole side of social media that I had built up for health, that I thought I was actually going to maybe build into a health business. I was planning with it. I was actually working with someone to rebrand, to create this whole thing. I just pretty much shut it down and I stopped doing a ton of stuff on it. I also was building a pretty lucrative, what's the word? I don't even know, but like MLM business. It was like a health supplement kind of a business, and I didn't even mean to like build it so big. I mean, I was like intending, I guess, to do it, but it like got really, it was going really well. I had to completely walk away from that. And I just had to really focus on what really mattered. And that was God, my vocation, the Catholic Church, homeschooling, being part of my kids' Catholic school events that we could do. And anything else other than that, I just had to completely let go. And my back spasms went way down. Like I don't even have them anymore. My back still is achy. Like it's kind of aching right now, but if I ice it and stretch, I'm usually okay. But if I start to add too much in, the stress really comes back, and it's so debilitating. I just don't think we even realize how debilitating stress can be and how negative it can be on our health. So I did want to make sure to talk about that as well. So I also want to share with you some resources and some ideas of things that can be helpful. One, you don't have to spend a ton of money. I have found that you really don't have to. Some things I think it's good to put money towards, like it can be hard when we don't have the money for it, but like physical therapy, that is something that I went to physical therapy for some different issues I had, and maybe in the future I'll share them on this channel. And I could only afford a few. They wanted me to go like every week, but I could literally do I think I did like 5 in 1 year. But I did a ton of work at home. Anything they told me to do, I did. And I was able to heal the issue I had based on that. So if you're going to put your money towards something, I do think that physical therapy or occupational therapy is actually a wonderful resource. Remember, you don't have to do everything. I'm not a doctor, but like if you can't pay for everything they're saying to do, I just paid for what I could do, and I just really did everything they told me to do at home. So that's the first thing, is I think that is a wonderful place to put money toward. And it's not cheap. And most of the time it just goes to your deductible. So that is challenging. And a lot of times you have to get a referral from your doctor. So it can be hard, but I just want to share that as a mother of having a lot of children, it can be helpful for our bodies, especially after a C-section and having a baby. So that's one thing I do want to say. It's something I think is good to put money towards. Workouts, you do not have to. I did Beachbody for a while and it's awesome, but I got hurt from some of the workouts. Not Beachbody's fault. They have a little thing on every other video like, be careful, but I was like, I can do it. I can do this, So it's a great resource, and there are a lot of companies like that where you pay for a certain fee and you have all these streaming apps, and that's great. If you want to do that and you want to have like workouts and like lists sent to you, perfect. But if you don't want to do that and you don't have the money, there are so many resources on YouTube. Like I think it's called Grow with Joe and Walk Away the Pounds. They're wonderful resources and they're completely free on YouTube. So you can do that for sure. And if you look up like large family, if you're a large family mom, there are even, I'm trying to remember, if I can remember, I'll put them in the description box, but there are some moms that have done it like what I've done, and they lay out what worked for them. So if you wanted to look up like their videos, that would be a great resource, and it's free and you can try it for free. So, and I would say put money towards vegetables and fruits, because that is really gonna help. Like even if it's just a little bit every week, adding a little bit more, adding greens to smoothies, just putting a little bit of veggies on every plate can make a world of difference. And water. I have spent a ton of money on books, cookbooks and recipe books, and I have literally used maybe 1 or 2. So I personally don't suggest that, but if you're a recipe person, do it, go for it. Now I'm extremely selective about the books I get. I did recently get this one though, and I'm super excited because she has made a lot of books and they've never been my style. But when I saw this one, I was like, oh my goodness, it's like my heart in a cookbook. So I got that, and it's actually in my kitchen. And it has beautiful recipes. We're just pretty much a gluten-free family now. So I just have the 1-to-1 gluten-free flour, and I'm just going to use it in her recipes even if it doesn't come out perfectly. So you don't really have to spend a ton of money on recipe books or anything like that either. I'm telling you, I feel like YouTube is a wealth of knowledge. You can find a ton of information, and there are a ton of recipes online. And if you're like me and you do like to have a book in hand, don't be afraid of researching, getting the samples on Amazon of it, looking over the book, looking over it, see if you really think it would be a good fit. And then if you really want it, get it. That's like basically what I do. And then this sounds like it has nothing to do with health and fitness, but having books like this, I have this little book. I have a couple of these. I love it, from Finer Femininity. I have books like Auntie Mary Exposed. I have books that are so good about helping me to remember that there is stuff in the world. There are there is spiritual stuff working in this world to keep us as women away from our like true calling, from who we are as women, who we're made to be, how our body is different than a man's body, how our body is at the service of God, that God has given us ourselves as the most beautiful, precious gift, like to ourselves, so that we can live out our vocation. Like, so I think that reading a lot of the books that I've read and understanding and like learning a lot of the concepts of who we are as women, that really we weren't like taught a lot of that, and at least my generation I don't think was. I think that's a big part too of our mental wellness. So I don't want to make this video 1,000 years long, but I just wanted to share a lot of these things. So I hope this video is at least a little bit helpful to someone. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in this channel, I'd love for you to subscribe and kind of stick around. I'm just going to casually make content on here. And if you have like things you'd like to know about or like me to do videos on, let me know in the comments below, and then I can pull from some of those ideas. So I hope you guys all have a beautiful day, and God bless. Bye.